In this movie, we'll start to look at situations in which acts like a vowel. Now, one thing we see when we look more carefully at the parts of a syllable is that every syllable has to have a nucleus, and this nucleus is almost always a vowel. But what about a word like bird? It's clearly one syllable, and it clearly has three sounds, b, and d. But aren't those all consonants? Not exactly. Modern thought in the field of speech-language pathology has led people to consider that these sounds, which always sound like and act like the nucleus of a syllable, are best thought of as actual vowels. They're referred to as rhotic vowels, and since these vowels are steady state, that is, you don't change the characteristics of your pronunciation from the beginning to the end of the vowel, they're monophthongs. Now, the IPA recognizes two symbols for rhotic monophthongs, the rhotic 3 and schwa. Now, you'll recognize that schwa looks a lot like the reduced vowel schwa, and you should be aware that this similarity is intentional. Just like schwa is used only for unstressed vowels, schwa is used for rhotic monophthongs only when they're unstressed. All stressed rhotic monophthongs will use the rhotic 3 vowel. So, in a word like return, where the vowel is stressed, it would be transcribed with the rhotic 3. The same thing is true for a word like burden, where the stressed rhotic vowel is in the first syllable. Unstressed rhotic vowels would be similar to those in the words like butter and singer, and in these words you'll see schwa being used. Thinking back to the vowel quadrilateral, you might remember that there was another pair of vowels that are differentiated solely by stress. Carat and schwa, right here in the mid-central part of the quadrilateral, were introduced as vowels that sound essentially the same. We use the carat symbol when the vowel is stressed and the schwa symbol when the vowel is unstressed. And this is exactly how to think about the rhotic vowels, too. Schwa is easy. It looks like schwa, its name sounds like schwa, and it behaves like schwa in that it's only used in unstressed syllables. And this leaves the stressed vowels. If there's a mid-central non-rhotic vowel that's stressed, use carat. If there's a rhotic vowel that's stressed, use the rhotic 3. Remember that in the old days, rhotic sounds were not considered to be vowels, so traditionally vowel charts don't show rhotic sounds. These days, when rhotic vowels are put onto vowel charts, they're placed as mid-central vowels, just like carat and schwa. The way to think of this is that our vowel chart really shows only two dimensions, front to back and high to low. But the vowel space isn't really two-dimensional. I like to think of the rhotic quality as an additional dimension to the vowel space. So in a two-dimensional representation, we can only put them here with the mid-central vowels. But think of rhoticity as adding a third dimension to the vowel space, with that third dimension creating some crucial space between rhotic and non-rhotic mid-central vowels. You might also recall this vowel chart, which we saw in an earlier movie. If you look at the mid-central part of the vowel space here, you'll see 4 vowels, including the rhotic 3, schwa, and schwa, which we've just been discussing. Now we can explain why this chart has the 4th vowel, which is the non-rhotic 3. Remember that this is a representation of the vowel space for British English, and you might recall that most British speakers have a non-rhotic dialect. That is to say, when a word has an sound in it, most of the time a British speaker will produce this sound without rhoticity. Well, this non-rhotic 3 is the vowel that non-rhotic British speakers will typically produce for these sounds. It's mid-central, it's stressed, and it's rounded. Its rounding is, in part, what makes it sound different from carat. Since we'll be focusing on American English speech in this course, you won't have to use the non-rhotic 3 in your transcriptions this quarter. But since it was introduced in an earlier movie, I thought it would be good to return to that symbol and explain what role it plays in broader transcription questions.